So here we have our spiral line stretch plus crossbody reach. Another one that we're going to get multiple things in a small amount of time here. So hopefully we're noticing a theme with this. But for this spiral line stretch, what I'm going to have Jeremy do is go ahead and get into a split stance. And so he's going to take his left leg forward here. Remember, with our split stance, melting in the front foot, stabbing in the back foot. And then he's going to take the PVC pipe to chest height like he's in a front rack position. And the first thing that I'm going to have him do is take a big breath in. And then he's going to exhale as he rotates towards that front leg, reaching overhead, holding it at range for a second or two, and then coming back and across the body, noticing now that the PVC pipe is about parallel to the floor here. So Jeremy's doing a good job here of showing us the isometrics in this. So when we get to end range on both of these, we want to hold for about a 2-3 count, come back and across, 2-3 count. Okay, so here we have a half kneeling T-spine matrix. So for this, we're going to do our best Keanu Reeves impression here. But what I want to have Jeremy do to start on this is go ahead and get his hands behind his head, interlock the fingers, and then importantly, make sure that we're pulling back on the elbows here. So for here, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and bend to the right, so away from that front knee. Then he's going to kind of duck under by pulling the left elbow down, sweep underneath and across, and then pull back to the top here. And notice that Jeremy is mostly moving primarily through this rib cage here. Everything from the waist down, we're going to try to think about keeping as fixed as we can. All right, so here we have a TRX falling reach, and I absolutely love the TRX for shoulders especially. Just a really good, simple tool that gives us some external stability and kind of some biofeedback to sense where our body is in space here. So for this one, I'd say this is a moderately challenging one, especially for something like warm-up or a movement prep. But again, with the TRX, you're always in control of your difficulty, so you adjust that based on how you feel. But for this, what we're going to do is have Jeremy start in a kneeling position. Glutes are on, knees are down, chest is tall. He's going to take a breath in and then exhale as he goes into a falling and a leaning pattern and extends the hands overhead. One caveat with this is if you are somebody who has recently had rotator cuff surgery or injury, labral injury, or any kind of true arthrokinematic joint problems, make sure that you start nice and light on this one. This can be a little bit demanding for people who are coming off of injury, but we'll get a couple more demos here. Breath in, good reach, long arms overhead, finishing in that falling pattern. Another good shoulder one using the TRX here. We're going to get into a split stance side sweep here. So this one is actually one of the best things that I've found personally for scapular patterning and scapular motion, and getting a little bit of a lateral element into this as well. So for this, we're going to have Jeremy set up, getting into a split stance. Notice the inside leg to the TRX is the one that's forward. He's going to keep his arms real long and start by inhaling and coming down into the back pattern, and then opening up and exhaling as we come to that top position. So this is another one where we want to try to keep everything from the waist down pretty static and really just try to emphasize this thoracic and scapular area as we're going through these arm patterns. And you'll notice Jeremy's doing a good job of keeping both arms in motion at the same time. So here we have a band coil plus bend. I've done this a lot of different ways, namely with a kettlebell or a dumbbell moving in a locomotive fashion, but this is a way that we can do it in a little bit more of a confined space. And then also too, I think that utilizing the band versus the static object makes this a little bit more of a pure shoulder movement here. So for this, what we're gonna have Jeremy do is start back behind the band. You'll probably step out onto the turf too. So he's going to start behind the anchor of the band, and then his inside foot, his left foot, is going to step forward and he's going to go into that coiling pattern, kind of reaching and pressing the band to the back pocket. Then he's going to step across with the right foot and then bend overhead there. Step back into the coil, step across into the bending pattern. And Jeremy's staying active through the shoulders and the scapula as he's going into each of these patterns, and then just focusing on connecting the movement from front step to back step. And then here we have just a simple band internal external rotation pattern here. I do like the setup of this one versus some other band internal external rotation patterns. I know we've all seen a lot of this pattern here, or the emptying the money, no monies, whatever it's called. But for this one here, I think this does a really good job of really purely isolating the cuff and then also requiring a little bit of scapular stability as well. So for this, Jeremy's going to get set up perfectly perpendicular to the band, and then go ahead and elevate that elbow to 90. And notice he has his bottom hand underneath his elbow. That's to make sure that this fulcrum point does not move. So he's going to keep that point fixed. Thumb is going to be pointing up and away from the body, and all he's going to do is just go ahead and pull out on the band, hold for a second or two, and then nice and easy coming back in.